Okay, so we're going to discuss Genesis chapter 7. And I'm going to try to make it quick so that my video doesn't cut me off again. So I think the first thing I wanted to look at is just a couple things. And going through these chapters are so short. So there's definitely going to be chapters as we go that have a lot more in them. But this definitely has some things. So, first, I wanted to look at chapter 7, verse 2. It says, all the clean animals you should take for yourself 7 pairs, a male and its mate. And of animals that are not clean, 2, a male and its mate. So, we know that at this point, God had in mind for us to eat specific animals. Okay, after the fall, he then told us that we all could eat meat, but there were certain types that he wanted us eating. And I think a lot of people get a little too religious about these things. I say we look at science, okay? I say we look at the human anatomy and we look at why. Why did he set these animals aside for us and told us the other ones are unclean and not to eat them? So I'm going to assume that it's why he tells us to do anything or not to do anything is because he's trying to keep us from hurting ourselves or facing just unnecessary issues. Okay, so let's take, for instance, pork. Okay, pork is very fatty. It is a very hard to digest meat. Okay. Did you guys know that red meat in itself can take 10 days to digest it? That means you're walking around for 10 days with that meat in your gut. Can you guys imagine the process that's happening to that meat in your gut? So, I mean, leave it out, leave it in a bag in the steaming heat of the day, right in the sunlight, because, we're pretty heated on the inside. We got a lot of chemical reactions and stuff happening in there. Just look at what happens to it in that situation. And we wonder why we deal with a lot of gut health issues and bloating and all that. But yeah, please keep in mind, like, shake off, unlearn, just unlearn, unlearn what it is that you think you know about God's word and come at this with a fresh and open mind, okay? He may have had a good reason to have clean animals for us to eat instead of the unclean ones. So it's very interesting here that he tells them to take 7 pairs of the clean animals. It's because he wants those to be obviously producing a lot more than the unclean ones, okay? The ones we're going to get more use out of. He wants us to have more of an abundance of those. Then we'll go down to verse 23. And it says, and it, the flood, blotted out all beings that were upon the face of the earth, from man to animal to creeping thing and to the fowl of the heavens. They were blotted out from the earth, and only Noah and those with him in the ark survived. You guys, when that day of destruction comes for us, we're told that Sodom and Gomorrah is a shadow of that. It's a reflection of that for the destruction that we have coming. If you guys have ever looked into Sodom and Gomorrah, and because they believe that they may have found the location of that, and when you look, I mean, yikes! I never imagined the story of Sodom and Gomorrah as realistically as I should have. When it talks about burning sulfur and all these things coming down, it's not just explosions and all that. Like their ground melted for like 10, 15 feet, like below the surface because of the liquid fire from the sulfur. I mean, it just burned. That's insane. That's insane. So you guys think, there's a lot of people making underground shelters, trying to get prepared. Nobody knows really exactly. I mean, everybody has their reasons, I guess, for getting prepared. But if everybody really kind of pays attention, there's a lot of us getting prepared right now. So I feel like that's kind of the spirit working in us. But you see people trying to get prepared by building shelters underground, and they might be thinking they're getting prepared for something else. But that day comes, if they run to those shelters for safety, guess what? It's not going to work. It's not going to work out for them. So, I mean, if you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, it's not going to work out. Only Noah and those with him in the ark survived. So, the ark, you guys, that blueprint that God gave him for him to build for the safety of him and his family, we've got a very similar blueprint given to us later on in God's word, except it's a blueprint of the kingdom. So when we get to that, you guys, we are definitely going to be referencing Noah's Ark again, because, God has given us another ark, okay? And we're going to discover that in God's word. And we are going to find ourselves yet again in a situation where we're going to have to step out in faith, okay, in the last days. So it's really interesting whenever we look at all that. But there's really not a whole lot that I can see in this chapter. But if you guys read through it and God revealed something to you through this chapter, please share it. Like I said, you can share it in the group message chat that we have going, because I don't have the comment section turned on here on YouTube. Yeah, God speaks, a word over each of us, and it's not always the same word. So it's really important that we share and we fellowship and relay those messages to each other, I think. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up, and we will continue on tomorrow with the reading of chapter 8 and chapter 9, and then we'll study those. So see you there.